Hey man, what it is? This is Dame, and I am your host, and this is By Any Means. There go to Cash App, $ Dean by any means. There go to PayPal at Dean by any means. Y'all already see that heart with the $? That's the super chat. Everybody been showing love. I appreciate you. Please say it with me, y'all. I don't care if you leave $1, $10, $1,000. It is much, much, much appreciated, y'all. Auntie Sco says that kid is the A side, and if they want to fight us, and if they want to fight us, cause we got the leverage, we do it for legacy. Hands down, we do it for legacy. If Shakur's, if Abdullah's, if Tanks, if they want to fight us, they have to come to Texas. Cause we ain't worried about the money. All we want is a little 2.5. That's all we ask Abdullah. We just wanted 2.5. Cause my son is the greatest of all times, hands down. Y'all, I told you all of this was Bill Haney fault. I told y'all, Earthmen, what was going to come, what was going to happen, and then now y'all got to sit in here and listen to my mouth. Um, Auntie Sco said that Auntie Sco is already ducking three of the top guys at 135, and what he's trying to do is trying to use his so-called fake leverage to duck each fighter. We're about to break this down, and I'm about to go through each one. Let's start with Abdullah. My guy, y'all didn't even get over $1 million to fight Tevin Farmer. How could you ask for 2.5 million to fight Abdullah? That right there lets me know that you are ducking. Tevin Farmer was the best person in your career. And y'all didn't even make $1 million to fight Tevin Farmer. But you want 2.5 million to fight Abdullah, when I'm not even sure if Abdullah Mason has made $2.5 million to fight yet. And then now you want to say that Abdullah Mason will have to come to Texas to fight you. I'm not even mad at fights being in Texas. The part that I'm mad at is that he think that he is trying to use those demands to set a barrier between him taking a fight or not taking a fight, and then is going to use that as an excuse if the fight don't happen. Hey, homeboy, Auntie Sco, we're not trying to hear the location reason why you don't fight Gervonta, Shakur, or Abdullah Mason. If they tell you to fight in Cali, if they tell you to fight in Vegas, if they tell you to fight in New York, wherever, that's where you need to make it happen at. Okay, you don't want to go back over to Saudi Arabia, but you don't get to dictate everywhere you fight in America, sir. And you're hurting your son's career, and and I don't see how people don't see this. The bigger Kid Austin get, the bigger Auntie Sco ego is going to get, the more egregious he's going to become. And it's sad that that's where we've come to, but that's what it is. So now he's trying to use the money and location to duck Abdullah Mason, all while saying that it's not about the money. It's not about none of that. It's about the legacy. Well, if it's about the legacy, okay, then let it be about the legacy then. Let's get to Shakur Stevenson saying that Shakur saying he don't ever want to fight the man because Shakur feels as though they backdoored and did a lot of fugazi stuff to get out of that fight. And I agree with Shakur Stevenson wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly, I agree with Shakur Stevenson, and I have a bunch of reasons to feel that way. But he's ducking Shakur Stevenson because when you sit up there and say that you the A side and y'all don't even want the Shakur belt, you just want the fight. See, that's the way, the reason why, and I understand the percentages from the belts and all this, that, and the third, but he knows that Shakur has a belt and Shakur has mandatories. And Shakur will have to defend. See, this is the part that Auntie Sco don't want to tell y'all, and this is how you know he's ducking Shakur Stevenson wholeheartedly. Because I don't even think Shakur Stevenson would have any problem with fighting in Texas, to be honest. He has Texas ties. He's with mob ties, and I think Shakur Stevenson lives in Texas as well. So I don't think Shakur Stevenson will have any problem fighting you in Texas. But this is, see, he's going to use, he tried to use the money for Abdullah Mason and location. With Shakur Stevenson, he's not going to use the location because he knows Shakur Stevenson lives in Texas as well. With Shakur Stevenson, what he's going to try to do is he knows Shakur Stevenson got a WBC belt, right? He said he don't want the WBC belt. He don't care about the WBC belt, right? Cool, no problem. But he knows as long as Shakur has that belt, Shakur either has to defend it or unify. He knows that. So the fact is, if you saying you don't want to challenge for the belt, then you're not. But the funny part about that is where that's a lie. You was just about to challenge for Shakur belt. That's lie number one. You was just about to challenge for the belt. But he know if he say he don't want to fight for the belt, that Shakur Stevenson will not be able to take the fight because Shakur Stevenson will have to either fight somebody in the WBC rankings and defend his belt, or he will have to unify with another champion in that weight division. You know who I know knows that? Auntie Skull knows that. And they're going to use that to try to duck Shakur Stevenson as well. Now, let's get to Gervonta Davis. And I shouldn't have to even draw this out. Y'all didn't hear what Floyd Schofield said on the Boxing Voice to try to duck Gervonta Davis? He said he's going to use his Continental and his interim title. See, Floyd Schofield is waiting for Gervonta Davis to get elevated, which will probably happen where Gervonta Davis might not have no choice in this manner. They're going to try to wait till Gervonta Davis get elevated after this Lamont Roach fight, and then fight for the belt that Gervonta Davis would be giving up, which is the normal regular WBA belt, and then try to use that as a reason to not fight Gervonta Davis, because once you get that belt, then he will have mandatories. And he's going to keep trying to defend the belt, use mandatories to not fight Gervonta Davis because he couldn't unify. And that's why, and that's another reason why he's waiting for that to happen. He wants Gervonta Davis to get elevated because then kidaustin couldn't even unify with Shakur Stevenson. So he's going to try to say that he don't want the belt. Do y'all see the play? And that's why he's saying if they don't agree to our terms and we the A side, then we'll just take the fights and move on. Because he know he don't want his son fighting them. And that's why he's trying to put his son in a position where he could use those things as an excuse to not fight them. 100%. That's why, y'all, how you know he's ducking Gervonta Davis, because Gervonta Davis hasn't been elevated yet, and he could put in the paperwork to become the mandatory for Gervonta Davis right after this Lamont Roach fight, because Gervonta Davis hasn't fought a mandatory in over a year. He's actually due for a mandatory to get ordered. And I hope the WBA mandate that fight before they elevate Gervonta Davis. Because Gervonta Davis already turned down the elevation already. That's why he's not elevated as well. But I think that they're going to force him to be elevated because they can force you to do that. They could just designate you that belt. It just is what it is. And how they get Gervonta Davis to go along with it is only charge him the same fee that he's been paying. Floyd Schofield is literally in real time trying to duck Shakur Stevenson, Abdullah Mason, and Gervonta Davis, all while saying he's the A side and he got the leverage and he ain't doing this and he ain't doing that. Even the Boxing Voice, and I don't even rock with them. Even the Boxing Voice was like, yo, kid, but Floyd, that's how these fights don't get made. Like, how is you saying that and using all that to create these barriers? And that's when he said, well, they don't want to agree to my terms, then we'll just take other fights and move on. Because my son don't care about the money and it's about legacy. Meanwhile, it's about legacy, but you don't want to fight the top 3 guys in your division. You would just move on from them. How would you get the legacy? Please tell me, how would you get the legacy? Who would you get the legacy against? And that's why he would never come over here and interview with me or people that's like-minded like me, because he'll get caught up in his lies. He is waiting for Gervonta Davis to get elevated to the super champion, so that's why he's not going to put paperwork into mandate. That's why he's going to use the Intercontinental and the International title with the WBA to not fight Gervonta Davis, all while saying he's the A side and Gervonta got to do what he say. He's out his mind. Brian Norman Sr. got more reason to have leverage than you got, and Brian Norman Jr. barely done anything. He's not even saying stuff like that. This is all Bill Haney's fault, and I told y'all, They didn't call Bill Haney on Father's Day. They didn't get Bill Haney a card. They didn't send him no money. They ain't get him no socks, no ties, nothing. All of this is Bill Haney's fault because he birthed all of this. All of this is Bill Haney's fault. But the difference is their sons ain't as prestige, having accomplished as much as Devin Haney. And they're just not as good at it as Bill Haney is. I think Auntie Sco don't even realize the stuff he say before he say it. And I hope y'all really found some great education in this video so I could break down how he's trying to duck all three fighters. And it's an absolute shame. Y'all already know what this is, though, right? Dean by any means. And I holla at y'all.